Welcome to another episode of Icon Presents. Today, joining me is an amazing songwriter, singer, producer, launching her own record label. Ladies and gentlemen, Danielle Taylor.
Lying here next to you, sharing your bed, listening to every breath, every little word unsaid. I can't wait till I see you tomorrow, 'cause then I'll have another chance to plead, to beg, to borrow some time. Maybe just one afternoon, some we're all living on a borrowed dime. The one thing we can't buy is more time. More time. Watching as you pull away, pull from me. Set you free, but I can't wait till I see you tomorrow, 'cause then I'll have another chance to plead, to beg, to borrow some time. Maybe just one afternoon, some time, only an hour or two, 'cause we're all living on a to plead, to beg, to borrow some time. Maybe just one afternoon, some time, only an hour or two, 'cause we're all living on a borrowed dime. The one thing we can't buy is more time. Afternoon and time, only an hour or two, 'cause we're all living on that borrowed dime. The one thing we can't buy is more time, just a little more time. Give me a little more time. There are so many things that I haven't tried. I may not know what I'm missing, but baby, I've got no regrets, at least not yet. 'Cause I know what I like, get what I want, put on a show 'cause I can, and I want you to see what I got, do what I please, say what I feel. I do what I like, what I like. I do what I like, what I like. stories to write that we'll never forget, but I know that I hold the pen. So I'll make the maps, circle the cities that I've never seen before. I might pack all my bags up and go. 'Cause I know what I like, get what I want, put on a show 'cause I can, and I want you to see what I got, do what I please, say what I feel. I do what I like, what I like. I do what I like, what I like. A gilded cage of races, all memory of flying. Keep your golden cages, I refuse to be abiding. I was born a wild thing, I was born a wild thing, I was born a wild thing. So just let me be, I will always be free, and you'll never tame me, not at all. 'Cause I know what I like, get what I want, put on a show 'cause I can, and I want you to see what I got, do what I please, say what I feel. I do what I like, what I like. I do what I like, what I like. Do what I like, what I like. I do what I want, what I feel. I do what I like.
Danielle Taylor, everybody. How you doing today?
Good, having you. Hi.
Alrighty, well, it's such an honor to have you in the studio today. I'm looking forward to talking about your newest project, your record label, and everything. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'm totally excited to be here. I've watched so many of your episodes, and
Thank you.
I'm stoked to be here. So thank you.
It's awesome. I got to be honest. I was shocked that you accepted the invitation so quickly. I was like,
shoot. Yes, please. Oh my God.
Because I saw you, and it was like, you followed the Icon Presents Instagram page. And I was like, oh, shoot, man, that's solid. Like, I checked out your page. Like I always say, like, I vet anybody that I'm going to. I never want to be disingenuous, and I don't want to have to be fake and be like, oh, man, I'll be excited to have you on the show. And that not really be the case.
Yeah.
So when I checked out your stuff, I was like, oh, shoot, I wonder if she'd be interested. Because I'm like, she looks like she's making some big moves. I wonder if she'll be on my little measly podcast.
No, whatever. This is so cool. And you have so
Yes.
many talented artists on here. And what you guys are
Exactly.
doing here is amazing. And I'm just, honestly, I'm stoked to be part of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and your creative journey.
Yeah. So I am first and foremost a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
I play the piano, obviously.
Yes.
And
you do a quite well job at that.
Thank you. Yeah. So my whole long life story is basically I taught myself to play the piano. I had some classical training as a youngster on the clarinet. Band camp.
Oh, yes. Hey, well, I spent so much time growing up in band.
Yes.
Like I was a kid I played trumpet.
Oh, nice.
I played violin, percussion, all of that.
Dude, and I'm honestly, I'm such a band nerd still. I see marching bands on TV or whatever, and I'm like, oh, it's still in there. So
I got you.
But I started there, and then I wanted to be a singer, and you can't play the clarinet and sing at the same time.
It's quite difficult.
I tried the guitar first, and for me, it hurt my fingers, and it was hard, so I quit. And then I found the piano, and I understood it, and the layout of all the keys and stuff. So I started playing a lot.
Gotcha.
Taught myself to write songs, formed a band.
Okay.
The bass player I have with me today has been with me since the very beginning. I met him on Craigslist, I need a musician.
Gotcha. So you're the second person that I've had on the show because you're familiar with Cassie B.
Yeah.
They're a guitar player they met off of Craigslist.
I know.
I'm like, what is this thing? Craigslist was always a sketchy thing for me.
But if you're meeting someone for mutual purposes, not love, you know what I mean? Then it's
I got you.
You know, like you can get a TV off Craigslist.
Yeah, see,
you
the
can
thing
get a bass
is,
player off Craigslist.
correct. You say that until you marry the guy that you met on Craigslist.
I did marry the guy. But that took some time. Like at first I was like, no, we're just going to be friends. But then I was like, but you're delicious. We're going to get married. So it did happen.
Okay.
But yeah, so we did the thing. We did the band thing. We sucked for a really long time. You got to go through that phase of suckage. You know?
I got you.
And then we started getting good or better, I guess. And then we started really kind of coming to our own, discovering our writing style, attracting the attention of really, you know, esteemed producers and engineers and stuff. And who, you know, when you work with people that are better than you, that just elevates your game.
Exactly.
Then we got on the radio, and then we've got some like sync deals. And so like things kind of started pumping in that direction, and it was really fun. And then, you know, as I've gotten older, I have, you know, the industry is what it is.
Yeah.
So sometimes there are hurdles for anybody of a certain age. And for women, it kind of feels, I don't know that it always is, but it sort of feels like after 30, it's kind of like,
I got you.
old lady, what are you doing here? You know, if you don't get in a certain window. So then I started exploring, like, I still make music. I still love it. I'm always going to do it. I will still put on shows, and I love my fans.
Nice.
But I also was like, well, I mean, I don't want to waste the time I've spent on this. So let me I'm a business person. What else can I do? So then I started booking musicians for different gigs because I was already doing it for myself, and that was fun. And then I found through booking that there were a lot of people that, you know, maybe weren't able to create the records that they wanted to create. And I have a home studio and I know some stuff. So a friend of mine who is like a multi-Grammy winning gent taught me a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So I learned how to be a better mixing engineer.
Nice.
And
so question for you on that.
Yeah.
What DAW are you using?
I use Logic Pro.
Really?
Yes, because I'll tell you why. Because I was already using it. And when I asked him, I know this is not like what they're using in studios. Like most people are using Pro Tools or Ableton or something.
Yeah.
Should I switch? He was like, no. Like if you're familiar with it.
Yeah. You gotta
most of your artists are going to be using something like that. It's, you can port it over. Like it's not a big deal. So he just taught me to like fly on Logic.
I got you. I went to school and I studied audio production and everything.
Cool.
And it was funny because when I first started school, we were on Logic.
Yeah.
And then when I transferred schools, they were like Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So I went through and I got certified Pro Tools, all that kind of stuff. Came to work at Icon Industries, which back then it was Cypher Studios. Not a lick of Pro Tools in there. They're like, no, we use Ableton.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man. It all depends. As long as you get kind of well versed and you understand what's going on.
Yeah, because they all kind of do the same stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Got you. That's cool. So you've had the honor of kind of taking or opportunity of taking your experience as a artist and the understanding the struggles that you went through in the past, and taking what you've learned in that and being able to help support new and up and coming artists.
Yeah.
Got you. I will say that's a very admirable thing to do.
Thank you.
Because a lot of people kind of will look at things, and especially with, like you said, sometimes as time goes on, the industry changes and it may shine a light on certain people or kind of give access to certain people and take away access and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you can assist and you can help and you can uplift, that's what's going to be better for you.
It's actually really fulfilling, which I'm a very me, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I'm very me-centric. Like I care a lot about myself and my goals and my dreams and stuff. So for me, like my journey in like sharing knowledge, I guess started probably, I would say 2019-ish. I got on the radio, SiriusXM radio in 2016.
Okay.
And I kept that very close to, like, I was like, nobody gets to know how I did this.
Right.
It's my secret.
Right,
you know?
right.
It was my cool thing my edge that I kind of had over, you know, other people at my peers, you know.
Gotcha.
But then I just got to a point where I was like, you know what? It's just information. The music is really what speaks for itself. The drive of the person is really what matters. So I'll just tell people.
That's true.
And then I just started telling people. And then, you know, one of my friends got on Sirius as well through my, like, this is how you do it. And I was stoked for her. I was like, oh my God. And I noticed that in me, like, oh man, I'm happy for you. I'm not like jealous. I don't feel weird. This isn't a competition. And that started opening me up more to be like, no, I want to help people do what I've done. Because there's so much gatekeeping and there's so much like.
So much.
Dude. And so I feel like sharing is caring to be super cliche, but I love being able to help people. And I think one of the hardest things is when you are an insanely talented musician and now I'm talking about other people here, not me. But when you're like crazy talented and you're just, there's so much shade from like the, trees above you and no one sees you. And I'm like, these people need some sunlight. And like, I know a couple ways to get you some sun. So let me like hook it up and help you out and help you make some money and become the professional only musician person you want to be.
Right.
And let's get your music like on the radio and let's get it, in TV and film. And like, let me help you, because I believe in these people and because I think they're insane. So I'm just like, yo, like, I don't know if I make people feel that way with my music, but these people make me feel so good when I listen to their stuff. So
that's cool.
I want to lift them up,
That's what you got to do. And that's, like you said, that's how it's more rewarding to be able to, it's like, okay, it's one thing to help, like to do something yourself or for yourself. When you're able to take that and do it for other people, it takes it to a whole nother level and it resonates a lot more. So tell me about that. So you performed 2 songs for us. What were the name of those 2 songs?
So the first one was A Borrowed Dime.
Okay.
And that song is one of the first ones that I ever got on the radio. Okay. And I wrote that song about my husband.
Nice.
And about...
Shout
out to the husband. He's in the room. You guys can't see him. But so it's about my husband and love in general. It's about how you always want more time with the people that you love. And we only get so much. So use it. But like, please can I have some more? Like live forever, please.
I got you.
And then the second one is a song called What I Like. And it's just about like, I'm going to do what I want. You know? But I wanted it to sound like sweet. So I did like a sweet version of like, I'm going to do what I want.
I got you. No, I love it. It's the energy on those songs really great.
Thank you.
It's like, it was, I was like, okay, cool. The last one, what you say was called What I Like. That one kind of made me think that I should be in a bar and we should all be like chanting. Like, can I do what I like?
Yeah, like, I know. I love it. I love that song. And I love to get a little like in the bridge. Like, you will not own me. You know what I mean? So.
Oh man, that song goes hard. You ever heard that one? They did it on the Suicide Squad. I forget who did it. You don't own me.
Oh, I love that song.
That one, and he had the G-Eazy remix on there too. I was like, oh man, that was great.
Dude, I know.
It was solid. I love it.
I know.
Okay, so let's talk about your up and coming artists that you have or that you've been able to support.
Artists that I'm working with?
That you're working with.
Yeah.
Got you. So how long have you been
my label has been since the beginning of the year.
Okay,
it took me a while to iron out the details to make it very artist friendly. It's super artist friendly because it's made by me. I'm an artist,
of course.
So, so it took me a minute to figure out all the legality and all that junk. But now it's up and running now, and it started at the beginning of the year. But I've had my booking agency for a couple years, so I've been booking musicians and working with them in professional settings. So I know how they kind of are as like not just talents but business people, because that's really important to me too. Like, I don't want to, jump into your world if your business acumen sucks.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah. So, but the artists that I have found, right now I have 4 artists. Okay. And I personally have played with the first one I signed. Her name's Erin O'Neill. She's amazing. You guys, you should have them all on here. They're amazing.
I would love to.
But the first one's Erin O'Neill, and I met her at like an open mic at a pie store, like doing music, and I loved her voice and her vibe as a human. And I asked her, hey, do you want to, I'm putting on a show, I'm doing the headlining spot, do you want to open for me? Yeah. So that was my first like real experience like working with her, and then I started booking her, and then I asked her to join my label.
Nice.
She's amazing, and she does kind of a dream pop, alternative pop, like a soft, beautiful pop. Like the girl can wail. She plays the guitar and the bass. She's amazing. Oh, nice. And she's got a killer voice. And a lot of the music that she's making right now is very like, it's sassy, but it's pretty. Okay. Which I love. Okay. And then the next woman that I signed, her name is Shiva Elliot. Okay. And she's kind of like a mix between, I would say like a Stevie Nicks and like, I don't know, who would you say? Like Stevie Nicks meets, Lady Gaga meets, God, what is their name? The Alabama Shakes. Like, she's like that. She's kind of got like a throwback sound, but like a really warm, organic, like sexy sound.
Gotcha.
She kills it. She's got a killer voice. Okay. She's totally beautiful, and I love her songs. And she's got really cool guitar solos on her songs. I like her music because it's very musical. You know what I mean? Okay. And then I signed Shay Givens after her. And, dude, and Shay is like, she kind of has like a Yeba vibe. And she's like, her voice is buttery and kind of smoky and sultry and delicious. And she plays the keys, but she plays it like organy road style. And she's very jazzy. And every time she plays the piano, I want to die because it's so good. So she's really lovely. And her music is really good. She's got like a full 7-piece band with horns and stuff. So again, very musical. Like I love organic compositions.
Okay.
You know, a lot. I like using electronics to enhance that stuff, but these girls are all doing really organic stuff.
Yeah.
And then the last girl that I have is a woman named Katie Ferrara. And she's cut her teeth busking around the world. And so she she sounds exactly like she sounds recorded.
Yeah.
She's got a Sarah Bareilles kind of vibe, but more in like the folksy, folk pop kind of space. Americana-ish. And she plays a guitar and gorgeous voice and love her music. And she's got a new single coming out on May 18th called Up and Over that she did with her friend who's an Olympian. So we're gonna try to get that song into the Olympics. And
Gotcha.
I know. So these girls are so amazing, and I'm totally stoked to work with all of them. And
wow. So how do you like come across these people? Especially like the thing that I find interesting is we live in a world now where everybody thinks they're a producer.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they're an engineer. You constantly have people that say, you don't need labels, you don't need anything. So for you to start a label in a you don't need labels age is an interesting feat in its own.
Yeah.
Kind of give me the process that you thought of, like, what have you learned in this kind of setup or?
Yeah, well, so the label thing, I kind of came to that. I was talking to a friend of mine who she used to be the head of A&R over at Universal. And I was talking to her and I was really like, I don't know what to do. What should I do? And I told her kind of what I was doing, which at the time was I would produce artists and I was booking artists. And then I had my sync library. And so I was kind of already doing the thing, but I didn't have like a name for it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so she said she thought I should do a music services company, which would have been a very lucrative for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was good advice. Like, make your money, girl. You know?
Right.
But I decided not to do that because I personally, as an artist, wouldn't sign up with a music services company because I feel like you don't believe in me. You want my money.
I got you.
So I wanted to do something where these artists, whoever they would become, would know that like I picked you because I believe in you. So I wanted to, a lot of what a label does is connect you to people you don't know.
Yeah.
Open doors that are closed right now for you.
Right.
And help guide your career in various directions.
Right.
You know, labels also pour money into your projects, make you pay that back. You get 7%. There's a lot of business stuff that sucks for artists.
I got you.
So I don't do any of that stuff.
Gotcha.
My label is all commission based. So everything I do for you, I have to perform for you so that we both make money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's kind of the structure of my label so that it's very artist friendly. And I'm trusting, that's why it's very important to me that these artists have good business sense because I'm really like putting myself on the line here. If your business sense sucks, if you show up late, if you have a bad attitude, if you don't show up at all, if when you get there you don't perform well, that you're not going to make money and neither am I.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of that involved. I believe in their music does well. We get it synced, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of, instead of waiting for them to build this giant audience, 6 million people on TikTok or whatever, I just go for the quality of the work. And so two of the people that I found, one was the girl, Erin, that I met at that pie shop. So I knew of her. She was already kind of in my ether and I've always kind of watched her. We followed each other. She's a really cool person. So I just knew and I was just like, I wonder, you know, if she'd be into it. The other girl, Katie Ferrara, I was booking her. And so she was playing a lot of the same spaces. Like a lot of times it's a smart thing to do to poach shows from other artists. So I definitely poach shows from her. I'm sure she poached shows from me. You know, like I'd see like, oh, you played at this hotel. Like, let me hit them up, you know?
I got you. I mean, it's the same thing I do with guests that I have on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, oh, you were on that podcast? And you're on mine now.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I did with her. And then I sent the same proposal to her and she'd been offered a couple deals before that were not savory, let's say. Okay. So I was like, this is what I'm going to do for you. Like, I'm not going to take anything from you that I didn't earn, you know? Right. You keep 100% of your rights, your masters, all that stuff. Okay. So, and then the other two, I met Shiva at a Red Bull Records event in LA. Nice. And we were talking and she's a very driven girl. And so she hit me up like, yo, let's keep talking. And I was like, I like this. Let's definitely keep talking, you know? And then Shay, I found on Instagram. Like I was just looking around for people to book, honestly. I was just like, I need more, you know, piano players. And I have a lot of guitar players, but I wanted more keyboard players. So I was looking around. Found her, thought she was amazing, started booking her. She was super cool. Cool. And then I was like, well, hey. You know? So it's kind of like that. It's really organic, you know.
Okay, that's awesome.
But I'm pretty approachable. So if someone was like, yo, what's up? And I thought I could help them. I mean, that's a big thing. Like sometimes you're at a spot where you could use some help, and sometimes you're not there yet, or sometimes you're way beyond what I could even really bring to the table for you.
Right.
So if you're too fancy for me, then I know people and I'll just be like, go over there.
Exactly.
I'm not going to, bring value to your life.
Right. That makes sense. You got to know where you're good
Yeah.
at. You got to know your strengths and your weaknesses and kind of operate within those fields.
Totally.
Gotcha. So in your experience of obviously being an artist and now transitioning into the role of a producer and a label owner and supporting, do you look back at things and think, okay, like I'm always interested to know, is there a pivotal moment in your career as an artist that you're like, shoot, that was a mistake and this was like the turning point like that, and you can now look at the girls that you're working with now and be like, don't do this.
I mean, I have a million of those. I've done so many things because when you're hungry, the world knows you're hungry.
Yeah.
And sometimes people take advantage of you,
Of
you know?
course.
So I think one of the things I did once was someone on LinkedIn hit me up and said that they were the head of, what was it? Some record label. And that they could get me on the radio.
Yeah,
And all I had to do was pay them $1,000. And this person was like a verified person on LinkedIn. So I thought like, yo, this is legit. Gave them $1,000. And then I emailed because I felt like my husband is also like a detective. He's not really, but he's like, he should be because he's smart. And he's like, I feel weird about this. And I was like, I do too. So then we emailed iHeartRadio.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, this is what I was told by this person. Is this true? Is this how it works?
Yeah.
And they were really nice. And they were like, I'm so sorry. This is not how it works. This is not how you get on the radio.
Yeah.
That person stole your money.
Yeah.
And then we hit up the bank and they gave us our money back, which was
That's
nice.
good. Yeah.
But like, that is like,
Yeah.
and it's hard because when you're hungry, you think like, oh, they believe in me.
Right.
And all I have to do is like invest in myself. That's what people say all the time. So you end up spending a lot of money. I've done radio campaigns with smaller people who were like, I can get you on the radio for internet radio. And then I charted too, but like it turned out for that particular thing I thought was amazing. He owned all the internet radio stations he put me on and it was like fake numbers, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
And it's like, it's really hard to spot that stuff.
Yeah.
So now when I talk to artists and people approach me, there's a lot of business things that I think, unfortunately are out there taking advantage of the hopes of young artists or inexperienced business-wise artists.
Right.
And the more talented you are, the more they come out,
Gotcha.
So for me, I'm happy to be able to be like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to go do this.
I got you.
This is a worthwhile place to put your money. This place, not so much.
Yeah, exactly. Now you have that experience under your belt. Now you can be like, hey, don't make the same mistakes I did.
Yes,
There's
totally.
warning signs and everything that you get to do. Now you're operating as a label owner, but like you said at the very beginning, you're a singer and a songwriter first. That was where your first love, your artist passion is. What kind of projects are you working on in that field?
Yeah, so I have I have a record. I have a record that I'm working on. It's got 12 songs on it, and I produced the whole thing myself, wrote it, produced it, recorded it. I'm mixing it, like everything. I might not end up mixing it because it's taking me forever. I might farm that out. But
got you.
But it's been really delightful to do that for myself because you really get to bring your vision to life. And I think as you grow as an artist, especially if you are a musician artist, you know what you want to hear.
Right.
And it's really hard to convey that to another person.
Gotcha.
And even if the person is like, I've worked with some amazing people.
Gotcha.
And sometimes the project still falls a little flat because of whatever was in my mind that I wasn't able to
communicate.
Exactly.
It's like, that's one of those things. It's always difficult to come through. And that's why you have people that end up, like me in my position, I end up doing a lot of different things myself.
Yeah.
They'd be like, all right, cool. You do the audio engineering, the videography, and then you're hosting the podcast as well. But then you're also building the website and handling the social media and all that kind of stuff. It's like when you have a particular vision for something, you're like, I want this done my way.
Totally.
And if it's going to fail, I need it to fail because I could not realize that.
Right.
But it's always very good and beneficial to be able to get people that may have stronger points, stronger suits, going back to what we said, playing on your strengths and weaknesses, knowing where you align. It's like, all right, cool. If you have somebody that's able to assist you in that and maybe a better, I don't know, writer or whatever like that, it might be good to kind of bounce things off of them.
I totally agree. I always talk about 10,000 hours,
Yeah.
And like, mixing is not my 10,000 hours. I can totally do it. And I offer that to people who don't have a budget really.
Right.
I'm like, yo, I've got a home studio. I know what I'm doing. It's not really what the studio looks like. It's who's behind the board. So
exactly.
like, I can help you out, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like really inexpensive, ... If you paid someone who spent their 10,000 hours on this more money, you would get a better product. Like,
right, exactly.
Whenever I hire people that are like, I will, when I do a demo, right? For example, I'll demo out the drums. My husband's like, he's a bass player, but he's a huge like drum guy. Like, thinks of drum patterns, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So together we will come up with what we want for drums.
Yeah.
But then we give it to drum players, and the session guys that we work with are like touring with Colby Calais. You know what I mean? They're like legit.
Yeah.
And they are smarter than us. They spent their 10,000 hours. They've got a better feel. They know exactly what drum. Oh, you know, that's not really a drum part. I do that with my husband all the time. I'll write a bass line and he's like, the bass doesn't really do this, you know? So, and sometimes that's a good thing. And sometimes it's totally stupid. So you just got to trust the people that you hire.
Right.
You know,
I was running into this situation yesterday. I was, me and my wife, and we were with some of my cousins, and my aunt has said something, and it reminded me of a song that I wrote. And so then I was like, oh man, I forgot about that song. And I started singing it because all the lyrics and everything like that started coming back to me. And then my cousin was like, I didn't know you wrote songs like that. And I was like, yeah. And then I started going over all these various songs that I wrote. And then I was like, here's the issue though. I am not a full composer.
Yeah.
I can write and kind of come up with the idea, the premise of it. I'm a bass player.
Yeah.
And I know some piano because it was necessary for when I was in college. I needed to do that. I know what I want things to sound like. I can't tell you what chords to play on a piano. I can't tell you exactly. I just just make it feel like this. Whatever you can do to make it feel like that. So that's where the collaboration comes in.
Totally.
And it's cool that you have your husband to kind of bounce things off of as well, because I always say like, having that pairing, that takes it to another level. Yeah.
Well, and honestly, whenever I do a production with an artist, I pimp him out. Like I'm like, hey, we got a bass player and he's really good with drums, and like we can come up with something. So like, you know, we work together, even though it's like me doing it. Like we work together because he's brilliant. And you know, I would have like married him and hired a bass player if he sucked, you know?
Right? So, oh man, that have to be so awkward.
I know. But it doesn't suck, so I didn't have to go through it. So it's good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can people do to help support you in all your new ventures?
Obviously follow me as Danielle Taylor. So when I put out music, you can hear it and buy it. I care more about people buying my stuff than streaming it, because I'd like to make that 99 cents from you.
I feel it.
So my Instagram's Danielle Taylor Music, and my website's danielletaylormusic.com.
Got you.
All my stuff is on there. Any shows I do, anything. And then my label is new, and it's Chance Recordings.
Okay.
And so they can follow that as well on Instagram. And then, you know, support my artists, because I'm trying to shine light on them.
Oh, 100%.
You know, so I would love to make sure that my ladies they're all girls. It's not, it's probably not always going to be girls, but right now it's all girls. So, you know, support them, follow them, listen to their stuff, you know, come to their shows. I'll be there. We can meet, we can hang out, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Real quick, going back to your website. I was on your website earlier today. You had a couple music videos on there. What's the one you were sitting on the counter? Doing one, and then I saw.
Was I wearing an apron?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is Extraordinary.
Yeah.
I love that song.
That song, that's a pretty solid song. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't do it here because I was like, I've got a couple of recordings of it online already. So.
I got you. Yeah. I was listening through. I was like, are there any songs on here that I want her to perform? But then I was like, you know what? I like when artists can come through and say, oh, you know what? This is my opportunity to showcase what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Because then you know it better than me. Like, I like that Wild Things song. Or what was it called? Yeah.
What I Like.
What I Like.
Yeah.
I call it Wild Things.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah. But for your music videos, do you shoot them yourself, or
depends?
Was that
some of them? So the one that you're talking about, where I'm sitting on the counter, that one's for Extraordinary, and I worked with a guy for that one, and another one from that same record. Notice How It Feels. I worked with a guy named Evan Blum, I believe, and he's super good. He's doing like huge things now with like famous people and stuff.
Nice.
But before that, he was working with me.
Right, you helped him get to that.
I know, but I had the vision for it, so I basically directed it and told him what I wanted to be doing.
Gotcha.
And then he is a camera genius, so he did what he felt right with in the moment. We did it in a day.
Nice.
And then I edited everything together.
Gotcha. I love doing music videos, man.
We
did Icon did Blythe Vermillion's Wings to Wax.
Oh.
And I'm gonna tell you that video, I mean, pretty much Blythe's idea for songs and different like her vision for different things that she does is very, I would kind of say abstract. It's like you look at it, you're like, I was not thinking that at all when I first heard it. Like I would listen to a song, then I see the video that goes along with it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're in this like field, and there's like this kind of ceremony that's going on, and they're all dressed up like warriors and everything.
Nice.
There's a battle and everything.
That's crazy.
And everybody has all this paint and everything going on.
Dude.
And I was like, oh my gosh, it kind of remind me. Did you watch the movie Northman?
No.
You didn't watch the movie Northman? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Homework.
Okay.
Homework. Watch that movie. That is
Yes.
a great movie.
Okay.
It's a trippy movie.
Ah.
Kind of makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable when I was watching it, but you
I kinda
power
like that.
through.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, gotcha.
That's art.
Yes.
Art's supposed to make you feel something.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's how you know you did it.
Mhm.
All right. Is there anything you want to leave with the people before we wrap it up?
No. I just want to say thank you. I admire everything you're doing here. It is a
Thank
lot
you.
of work. Like from a person doing a lot of work to another person, like you're killing it. And it is like, honestly, like, I don't know how
I
often people are
appreciate it.
shouting you out, but like, yo, you deserve your props. Like
Thank
what
you.
you're doing here is really beautiful.
Thank you.
I have felt like a queen the whole time I've been here. And
That's awesome.
I feel like this is really fun. So thank you for having me.
That's awesome.
Honestly.
It was always our vision. Like I said before, we have the podcast that we support businesses with Evolve Your Brand. But we wanted to reach out and do something for creatives, and especially since so many of us kind of, that's where our strong suits are.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, where is that weak point? And really what it came down to is during the SAG strike, I noticed when people couldn't promote and all that kind of stuff for when it came to actors and all of that, which in the sense of Hollywood, that was actually pretty good because we got a break because they were putting out a lot of not so good projects back to back to back. You're like, take a break, take a seat. Y'all get it together. And they came out with Godzilla -1 and other projects that are doing much better. It's like, all right, cool. I respect it.
Yeah,
Good.
they needed
You
a
just
breather.
needed a break.
They needed a spa day.
Exactly. But doing this whole project, being able to support artists and creatives and various fields, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Is a way that I'm able to kind of do exactly like what you're doing and supporting other people and help their visions come to life.
Yeah, I
and
love
that's
it.
what we want to do. Alrighty. So again, your website.
Danielle Taylor Music for me as an artist, and
Awesome.
chancerecordings.com for my label.
Awesome. And your Instagram is Danielle Taylor Music.
And Chance
Gotcha.
Recordings. Yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah.
Thank you, audience, for joining me on another episode of Icon Presents. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video and this podcast out there. If you have anybody that you think, hey, you want to get them on this show, be sure to message me, tag us, put their information in the comments below, anything. We thank you so much for joining us. Y'all take care.